Welcome to the Court of Bookish Queens, a podcast where mother, daughter, and intruder dive headfirst into the world of romantasy, sharing our unfiltered thoughts, bold opinions, and theories so wild they might need legal representation.
I'm Juliet. I'm the daughter, romantasy addict, and CEO of Falling for Fictional Men.
I'm Helen, the mother, trained legal counsel, romantasy lover, and fully here for the drama.
And I'm Melissa, the intruder, uninvited romantasy novice, but oh, do I have opinions. So, listeners, adjust your crowns. And remember, in this court, chaos isn't just welcome, it's the dress code. With that, court is now in session. Hello, and thank you for joining us on today's episode, where we will be covering chapters 85 through 102 and bonus chapters in House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas, or CC3. Before we dive into the episode, please listen carefully. This episode will be spoiler central for the entirety of the Crescent City series and the Maasverse. Yes, you heard me right. This is the absolute end of all of Sarah J. Maas' series, and we will be discussing it all here on this pod. So stick around if you want to hear Throne of Glass and ACOTAR callouts. Last thing before we jump into the episode, if you're loving being part of the court, if you're loving these deep dives, then please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, listen to us on Spotify, and follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Or why not all of them? With that, let's get into it.
Okay, so for our last episode, we talked about Ethan helping Hypaxia create the antidote. Bryce and Hunt went to the Northern Rift with Ember and Randall. Ethan is now Prime. Hypaxia is now head of House of Flame and Shadow. Pollux took Lidia's sons, and Bryce made a deal with Nesta. And so today, we will be just discussing all the characters, everything that happened, and it's a lot. So if we can begin with Ruhn and Lidia, and a little bit of Tharion as well. We know that Ruhn and Lidia found out that Pollux has taken her sons, and during the raid on the palace, Lidia is completely overwhelmed. And to stop her from doing something reckless, Ruhn shoots her in the thigh. And soon after, Ruhn, Lidia, and Tharion find her sons with Pollux, and by now all three of them have taken the antidote. The boys are a little bit beaten up, but they're alive. And in an extremely intense standoff, Ruhn offers his life in exchange for Ace and Bran, Lidia's sons. But Pollux refuses, and somehow he ends up shooting Tharion in the chest after Tharion uses his new, stronger water magic to stop Pollux. And then Lidia just unleashes her fire magic and ends Pollux. So, one of my favorite moments was when Ruhn told Pollux and everyone else who was there that Lidia is his mate, because, I mean, okay, it was a lot. I wish that it was a bigger moment, like a more dramatic moment, but I was still excited to hear what we all knew was coming. Like, we knew it all along.
I thought it was pretty dramatic the way it happened. Like, maybe it wasn't romantic, but I even thought it was romantic. Like, oh, I loved it.
I thought it was plenty of drama over there because they're in the middle of a standoff. And Lidia is mad at Ruhn. His protective nature comes in, and she's
Yeah.
pissed, you know?
Yeah.
And at this time, Ruhn is like, you know what? I'm going to save the boys and I'm just going to, finish this, sacrifice myself for them. And that's when he says it. I think that's when when Ruhn says, she's my mate. I'm like, yes, she is.
Look, okay, maybe dramatic was the wrong word to use, but I just felt like I didn't get enough from Lidia. You know, like I wanted it to be just as dramatically matched as the way Ruhn's like announced it.
Yeah.
Well,
I think she was probably more
Yeah.
focused on her sons than
Yeah, no, you're totally right.
So,
Yeah.
and that anything would have trumped that.
That's fair. So I think we should also touch on Tharion. We know that Pollux shot him, and they described that the bullet went through and out. In my opinion, his life should have ended there. So I want to know, given that Tharion's arc with Sathia remains open and unresolved, and considering that in war, there's losses on both sides, good guys and bad guys. Why do we think that SJM chose to keep Tharion alive?
Oh, come on. No, the next book is going to be all Tharion.
Yeah, it'll be all Tharion. That's why she did. But also, I don't necessarily know if a bullet wound going through him signifies his death because my goodness, like apparently they're immortal, right? The Midgardian Fae are immortal. Well, he's not Fae. Hold on. Apparently,
Well, but
the people.
Tharion took the antidote, right?
Yeah.
So like he should heal faster as well. But they said
That's
that he
right.
wasn't.
Yeah, but that's why I'm so confused because all of these characters and these species are meant to be immortal, but then certain things can kill them. It's confusing to me. Like if you're meant to be immortal, you're meant to be immortal, right? Not a lot can like hack you.
Actually, even a
I feel
bullet,
like it would, yeah.
no, a bullet wound, even in humans, a bullet could like miss all the major organs and pass through your body, and you'll be messed up, but you don't necessarily die. So it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is like, not for a second did I think that that bullet wound was the end of Tharion. Not because there's more books or anything, but because that's not enough to take him down.
Well, I wish it was. Secretly. Not so secretly.
I like Tharion. I mean, he's
Love
got a
him.
character. So isn't it at this point where Ace whispers mom for the first time to Lydia? I thought that was kind of significant because he's been so, dismissive before. What do you guys think?
Like it was just too cute because he's been so cold and you're right, dismissive. And this is the first time that he actually acknowledges her as his mom, which is, I'm sure that if I was a mom, I would start crying in that moment. I'm pretty positive. If we can move on to, I think we should talk about this antidote and the way it impacts all the characters because we already know that Ethan got ice magic from it. And it's in these chapters that we learn that Lydia has firepower. And I'm not sure if she already had the firepower. I think she did. I don't think it was the antidote that gave it to her, but maybe it elevated or enhanced that magic in her.
I think Lydia did have the power before because when they were in the Cave of Princes, the Autumn King put fire around them. It would have unalived them, but apparently she shielded them. Lydia says this afterwards, that she has always known that she has this power, but she's kept it hidden.
I just think a cute moment was when Lydia found out from Tharion that Hypaxia, her sister, successfully whipped up the antidote. There was like a moment of just pride in her, and I thought that was really cute.
It was adorable. And all this time I thought that there was tension between the sisters, but apparently not. Maybe Lydia had to act that there was some tension before because of who she was presenting herself to be, but I think she really does love her, which is very sweet.
If we can now touch on Ruhn with what the antidote did to him, because he got healing powers, right? Or was there anything else that he got?
Starlight. He got starlight.
He got more starlight.
So it's the same light that Bryce has, but just not like the star in her chest or whatever.
Yeah, because Bryce's starlight was like so powerful that even with the parasite, it still shone and was very bright. Whereas in Ruhn, the parasite really acted as a veil and he could only show a glimmer, right? But with the antidote, he was able to be as strong as Bryce was at the very beginning before she made the draw.
And he has healing powers.
And the healing powers. He has so many powers. He has starlight. He has shadows. Now he has healing. He can speak in minds. And let's not forget, he's related to Reese, right? And Reese is very powerful. And now every time I read about Ruhn, I picture Reese. So exciting.
But just like with tattoos and piercings and the long hair
exactly.
on one side.
Like a more modern version, but I wonder if there's more, like more we'll get of that story because I feel like I said before, Bryce and Hunt, it's done. I really don't want to hear from them anymore, not because I dislike them, but because I want them to live happily ever after and in peace. But Ruhn and Lidia, we've only really scratched the surface with them. There's more. We know that they're together, but I feel there's more to discover about each one of them. Yeah.
Okay, so if we can move on to Bryce, I feel like this is the ultimate like climax of the earlier in chapter 90. Bryce, using the Star Sword, knife, and a bit of Hunt's lightning, takes down one of the Asteri while the rest of them watch. Then at the story's peak, she uses the Godslayer rifle and the bullet from Connor to open a black hole-like portal that pulls all the Asteri in along with herself, despite warnings from Rigolis. And then Hunt, with the help from the Mask and Shahar, manages to bring Bryce back from Midgard, but when they return from the black hole, she is not alive. Did you guys expect Bryce's life to end? And did you believe that it was actually going to end?
Not for a second.
Never. Not for a minute. Yeah.
I think it would have, unpopular opinion, but it would have been good for the story if she actually was unalive. The fact that she was gone for a second and then came back immediately, it reminded me of Reese. I'm like, yep,
Okay.
she can't do it. She can't do it.
I know. It's just, look, I don't want to say it's bad, but it's so bad that when I was reading it and I read that Bryce's life ended, I started laughing because I was like, how is she going to undo this?
For a second did I believe it. And you want to feel that emotional tug. And I felt absolutely nothing. I filmed myself while reading, and I haven't even sent it through to you guys because I'm like, you see me do nothing because I didn't believe it. I was just like, okay, keep reading, keep reading. She's coming back. Oh, she's back.
So do we have any thoughts on Jesiba?
She was going to be such an interesting character, right? But she had to sacrifice herself for Bryce. Like, I feel like there was so much we could have learned from her, so much history and like planning for the future. But the trade just, it didn't sit right with me.
I'm so on the opposite end of you here. I am just like complete. You're here. I'm like on the planet Mars. I think that what happened here with Jesiba exchanging her life for Bryce was perfection, because she had been waiting for 15,000 years to go to the other realm, to leave this world and go her merry way, just like her sister priestesses.
Okay. Let's talk about Nesta. Nesta. So excited. Okay. So, after the war ends, Bryce gives the mask back to Nesta, who's genuinely surprised to receive it back. Cassian is there with her. I had a major freak out moment because, Cassian was there with her along with Bryce's parents, and it's very clear that Nesta and Ember have formed a bond, and we also see that in the bonus chapters. And their goodbye is also super sweet. But just before Bryce leaves and closes the portal, she's holding Hunt's hand. She hands Nesta both the Star Sword and Truth Teller and tells Nesta, I have it over here. She tells Nesta, I think that 8-pointed star was tattooed on you for a reason. Take the sword and go find out why.
Yeah.
Are we setting up for the next ACOTAR book?
Yeah,
or
for sure.
What?
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Which made me think that yes, actually, the next book is about Nesta.
Exactly right. That's exactly what I thought. All of us are here like, Elaine, Azrael, bring it on, Lucian. It's going to be about Nesta.
So it's going to follow the 3 Feyre, 3 Nesta, maybe 3 Elaine.
And it checks out, right?
Maybe.
That's why we saw 6 to 8 or 6B. I don't know. But I think the story is Nesta, which makes me really worried because and maybe we'll get to this in the bonus chapters, but there was a lot of like Cassian and Nesta tension.
No, I saw it the other way. First of all, Bryce smelled that mate bond on Nesta and Cassian.
Saying that they're not mates. Like, I think,
okay.
Look, maybe they're mates. I think they are mates. There's a lot of controversy with that. But what I'm saying is like, oh, we thought their story was done and dusted and they'd be fine. But Cassian was so upset at Nesta. He said out of all the people who were there, Cassian was the most upset at Nesta.
And there's a good reason for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so obviously, the swords being given by Bryce to Nesta is, in our opinion, setting everything up for the next ACOTAR books. But there was a lot that happened in the bonus chapters as well, particularly the bonus chapter with Nesta, Ember, and Randall. Yeah, what did we think about those interactions?
The relationship between Nesta and Amber was very sweet.
Because Nesta has never really had a mom, and Ember is a mom for her. And I was going to say that Ember just killed me because I feel like we've gotten bits and pieces of her throughout CC, but it was really in these moments where she shined for me because she's not only super empathetic and can really just feel everything Nesta is feeling, but Ember is also fearless. Like the way she interacts with Reese, and I know that Ember can feel Reese's like station or power or whatever. She's not afraid. She lets him have it. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed her interaction with Reese, just telling him off. That was really good. And I also wanted to mention that Reese over here shows his protective side and goes after Nesta for giving away the mask. And he is so upset that it brings issues for Cassian and Nesta. Now, I love Reese, but I do think he can be a little too protective when it comes to other people. He wasn't very protective with Feyre, but he seems to be very protective of Perithian altogether, and even threatens with Nesta, right? And yeah, it just doesn't look good to me. It makes me think that he would have never allowed Bryce to go back intentionally in the beginning when she was there in prison. If they had kept her there, she would have never been able to save Midgard. And I don't think he would have let her go just like that, especially not with a sword.
I do see what you're saying with, I don't know if Reese really would have let Bryce leave the interrogation room. I agree with that. I know that Reese is furious with Nesta, and he's always going to protect Valaris, Prithian, the Night Court, his new kid. Like, he's always going to be extremely protective, even more now because of Nyx. But I don't think that he would ever actually threaten the end of Nesta's life because of how Reese feels about Cassian. I don't think Reese would ever do that to Cassian by ending Nesta's life. I just don't see that.
I agree. I think it was more of a threat to cause intimidation. I don't think it was a threat with any merit behind it. Now, towards the other points about Reese being overprotective, well. So it's okay for Reese to be overprotective, but when Tamlin is overprotective, but no, look, I digress.
Melissa, I've always been with you with the Tamlin thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that more towards Julia. It's like, oh, he's just being overprotective, and now it's like, of course you're gonna protect the ones you love. Like, it makes sense, right? And even more so now that he has baby Nyx. But something that I think is like, if it were up to Reese, he would not make a lot of the choices he does. And I'll put that into context. Like, if Feyre wasn't around, Reese would act very differently than he does with other people, with things, with how he handles situations. So Feyre is that kind of like sanity check for him and kind of keeps him in line a bit. So my opinion is that he would have let Bryce go because Feyre would have talked sense into him. That's what I think.
He may have let her go, but he wouldn't have let her take the sword, the knife, or the mask. Never. He would have never allowed those.
We won't really know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and that's coming from me, right?
I would.
Yeah, I'm shocked right now.
Yeah, no, it's because you know why though? I see it as like, in a way, Ysteri's main goal was to get to Perinthian, right? Like, they always wanted to get back there. So in a way, he's helping prevent that. So he is protecting his land. It would have taken a lot of convincing. It wouldn't have been easy. Maybe he wouldn't have given all three things. Like there's a lot of if, ands, and buts. However, I think towards the end, there would have been some give and Rhysand would have budged.
Not sure. In fact, not just not sure. I can't see it having happened that way. Yeah,
What do you
I'm
think,
completely
Julia?
on the
Because we're on different ends of the spectrum.
I also don't see Reese budging on that, especially with the mask. Look, yeah, the fact that I don't think that Reese would have let Bryce leave the interrogation room, I think would further prove that I don't think that Reese would have given anything to Bryce. But I don't really think it matters because it's all what ifs.
Yeah.
What I wanna note is Nesta being so unyielding and staunch in the face of Reese and his wrath.
Love it.
I love it. I love it.
You do not yield. But yeah, I just love her.
I love it. I love it that she's like, you are not my high lord. I was made by force. I came here by force. And now I choose to stay here, but not under your command. Like, bravo.
And Nesta, yeah. And Nesta even reiterates stuff like that to Cassian.
Yeah.
All the time in the 5th ACOTAR book.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I love it. She's the strongest woman there. I love her.
I love that someone doesn't like succumb to Reese. Like, oh, you know, he's so charming. He's so like, no, she doesn't care about any of it. She's like, don't care. There has been so much discussion in this Crescent City pod series about Ruhn and Lidia. Whether we like Ruhn, whether we dislike Ruhn, whether we like Lidia, whether we dislike Lidia, whether they are mates. I think we've always thought they were mates, to be honest. Whether Ruhn deserves Lidia, vice versa, right? But here we are at the bonus chapters, and they're getting married. It's finally done.
And you know what? It's the cutest interaction yet between these two. I think so, definitely, because like Lydia has planned everything out with Bryce.
Yeah, I hated that.
Right? And Hunt. And she has planned everything out, and then she hasn't even asked Ruhn whether they want to get married or not. And then on their way to the ceremony, she says, "Would you marry me?" And of course he says, "Yeah," but she had no idea whether he was going to say yes or no. I thought this was so cute. I thought it was adorable. And then how he's just flabbergasted and happy. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I did not share the sentiment. I thought it was. I'm happy they're married. Don't get me wrong. Like, we knew it was heading that way, but the fact that she planned the wedding, like, and
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
It was my vibe. That's just personal.
Well, that's how I feel. Yeah, that's how I feel about how Ruhn announced that they're mates. I'm like, it's not enough for me. This is not enough.
No, I didn't mean enough. I didn't expect her to don a white gown and like thousands of people and march down the aisle sort of thing. But it was just like maybe a more traditional. Maybe I just thought Ruhn should have done that after everything. But
that's interesting.
Wait a second. Melissa, you just said after everything Ruhn's done, Ruhn should have planned the wedding. So you agree that Ruhn was in the wrong for a lot of their relationship.
No. It's like after him. No. After Lydia saving him. After, they've both done a lot to each other, but I don't know. I think it's just the traditional in me. I would want the man to ask me to marry him. I wouldn't want to be like, hey, we're getting married. Here it is. Like, but that's just me. Like, it's.
She asked him. She asked him to marry her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said yes, so.
Yeah, even that. It gives me the ick. Okay, so listeners, we have come to an end. CC is finished. Actually, all of SJM is finished. So what are we to do? Cancel the pod? Never look again for another episode? Oh, no. We shall be coming back with a new series. And Juliet, I hand this over to you.
Ready for the announcement? Drum roll, please. We will be reading Quicksilver.
So exciting!
Okay, but people should know that CC is actually not over. We'll come back to it when we get a new book. And Quicksilver is not a finished series.
So follow along for all of the journey. And with that, court is now adjourned.